name is Serena Bufalino. I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. My career started off as a special education teacher. When my students found out that there were kids in this world that did not have the right to go to school, inspired them. The concept behind the Haiti School Building Project was a small handful of youth in Toronto would help a small handful of youth here in Haiti. The Haiti School Building Project finally opened up last year, September 2018. It has successfully been running for 7 months now, and what I have seen is nothing shy of beautiful. One person with the support of others can literally transform the planet.
For the past 5 years, Help Heal Humanity has successfully run an elementary school in Canaan, Haiti. Due to COVID-19, the political unrest, and the recent earthquakes, food is scarce. The students attending our program are coming to school starving, and therefore causing a disruption in their academic goals. We need your help, now more than ever, to provide these students with the nourishment they need to continue their education. Our goal is to raise $100,000 so we can feed 100 kids lunch daily and send them to school in the upcoming year. Thank you for your support.
Hello.
Hello.
Wonderful queen.
I'm nervous because I'm at home and the Wi-Fi. You know, when I stay in the country, the Wi-Fi, I might get in the matrix.
You know what? We're going to work it out. See, I hear the dinging of the bell already. So that's telling us we're going to be okay.
We're going to be okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, every Thursday I'm always happy because I get to see the queen.
Wow. I see you have Help Heal Humanity show $100,000 campaign.
Did I sneak that in? Oh, okay.
Is that what we're talking about today, Miss Barbara?
That's like what they call it, a subliminal, like people knowing what we're trying to do, but we're not saying it out loud. No, we're gonna. I mean, okay. I see Serena just put the cat out the box, as they say. Yes, we. One of the things we're going to be doing, just to let everybody know, moving forward too, is that Help Humanity is on a campaign. And at the end of every show too, Serena's going to come up with her lovely self, with her awesome self, me or her, I, whatever, and kind of just do an ask. So I'm starting a little bit early by putting it in the title, but we're HHA is doing a campaign for $100,000, and it's not for our pockets. And Serena, I'm going to let you. It's definitely not for our pockets. And Serena, you know what? Since we're talking about it now, give a little bit give a little information about that.
All righty then. So thank you for the intro, Barbara. So Help Heal Humanity, our charity formed in 2018. Oh no, am I in the vortex?
I hear you. You're good. Okay. I see you and I hear you. I see you and I hear you.
All right. So yeah, I'm going to apologize. I thought this was going to be okay. I'm here on my own. Help Heal Humanity, we formed our charity in 2018. Prior to that, I, on my own with my students, had built a school in Haiti. So we successfully built a school. In 2018, we made Help Heal Humanity come to life. And part of what we do is our student sponsorship program in Haiti. Where in Haiti, it's called Canaan. It's part of Port-au-Prince. And it happens to be in the area where the major gang violence is happening and the gang wars are happening. So it's a very, very, very impoverished area. It's an area that was actually created just after the 2010 earth. So Help Heal Humanity, we were one of the schools to open up our doors for children in the community. And we have very successfully been running an education program for 5 years, which we are all very proud of. However, due to COVID, we had to reduce our numbers. So 2018, 2019, 2020, we had 100 plus kids. 2021, 2022 school year, we went down to 50 kids. So now this $100,000 campaign is to be able to send all 100 kids back to school this coming September. And not only are we hoping to provide their education fees, all their school fees, their textbooks, 2 uniforms, school bags, school supplies, but the malnutrition rate in Haiti has gone up like 80% in the past year with gun violence and gang war and, political unrest. And so this year we are hoping to implement a daily meal, as we know that is the only meal our students receive in a day. And because the malnutrition is so intense and so severe right now, it's actually causing a disturbance in their learning. So in order to keep our program thriving and our students thriving and our routines in place, we really want to give them a meal program at least once a day. So the $100,000 campaign, again, is to bring 100 kids to school this September, full education fees, textbooks, uniforms, school bags, school supplies, 2 daily snacks, a bottle of water, and a hot cooked meal at lunch. So that is our goal. And I'm just, hoping, praying that everybody on the board and everybody who's listening to us will do just a little bit. Hopefully some people who have the bigger pockets can do bigger donations. But, this is a really big global community effort. So if everyone just gave, $5 here, $5 there, all that really does amount up to significant change. And so this is what we're trying to do. And we're really focusing our efforts on that, especially over the next 8 weeks, 12 weeks.
I put myself on mute because I want everybody to hear the wonderful Serena. So 12 weeks, that is very short. It's like right around the corner. You look up, we're already in August. And I was just thinking about that the last night. I was like, wow. I was just thinking about June. We're in August right now. And kids go back to school, like you said, in September. So we have that, that little, thing to say, okay, we need to make this money. Now, I want to say this, and I presented this to Serena too the other day. I said, I asked her, I said, so for one child, let's just do some math here. Because when you see a big number like 100,000, you're like, ugh, But if you kind of break it down in chunks, then it becomes more manageable in your mind. So you have a child, let's just say, because we want the meal prep plan too, because as Serena said, they only get that one meal. So if they don't get that one meal from the charity here, they don't get fed. That is, just sit back and pause for that for a minute. Everybody can, if they get hungry, they can go to McDonald's, they can go around here, they can fix them, they go to the grocery store. They can't do that. That's why they need us. So with that alone, Serena, now help me if I'm wrong, if I do the numbers wrong, isn't it per child $500 with the education, but it's $1,000 for if it's the meals included?
Yes.
Okay. So let's take the $500 first. Let's say we want to get that education going, we want to get them to school, right? So then you say to yourself, well, I don't really have $500 either. Well, you know what? If you divide that 500 into 3, how much is that?
Maybe 150?
150 now?
Nope, 175.
175? Okay. Probably manage that, right? And then you say to yourself, who is 2 other friends, family, or just associates that might have another $175 with that they could just do that one time or whatever. If you do
I think
3
I'm in the
times,
vortex.
yeah, you're in the vortex. I'm still talking. So if you times that by 3, that's the $500. That will help one child. So see, when you start basically, taking that big number and just putting it in little tiny number, then you say, I think I can do 175. And I just use that as an example for 3. Say you want to split up into 4. That's less on you, less on the other people. So I'm just trying to make people see that there's a way to do it. Now, we always ask for anything. I mean, I'm not saying, okay, just do this and then you can't give nothing else. If you can give $5, I mean, we're like, yes, thank you so much. But we're just trying to show you that, each child and how the expenses for each child. And if you can do like a team tag of people, that might be a little bit easier for you to manage as far as finances. So I just wanted to bring that out. And you can do that with the 1,000 too. The 1,000 includes for each child with the food prep. Remember, again, that's the only food they're getting if they don't get it from us. So divide that out. Have an HHH party. Invite me and Serena. Believe me, you get Serena there, she's going to have the party. By the time everybody listens to Serena, they're going to be like, okay, let's do this. Let's go, charge. Look at her. She goes like that, but she's a bolt of just energy and of love. And that's one reason why I signed to be a volunteer for HHH, because just knowing Serena alone pulled me, but just understanding how it's helping so many individuals, small, I call them the little, the short people, the young people in our world that needs us, because they can't go to work. They don't do all that. They can't do that. So we have to be there for them. Right, Serena? Right. I know she's in the vortex right now. So I'm gonna put Serena, you there? I'm gonna put you down and bring you back up when you get fixed. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it going because I know she's working with her internet. She's in the, as she always says, she said, I'm in the country. This is not doing right. But that's okay. When she comes back up, we'll bring her up. And when she, can't do it, we'll bring her up again. That's just how we do it. We're a team. We are a team. So I want to keep going because we do have a guest tonight as well. Because when we do our weekly, I'm just making sure I got Serena just to bring up when she's ready. We do have our weekly, we do have our weekly shows every Thursday, 9:00 Eastern time. And with the show, first half is like a teachable moment, something that you can learn from regarding nonprofits, learning more what HHH is doing, Help Humanity is doing in the world. We want to keep you with what's going on with the trends with HHH. And then the second half, we talk to other nonprofits. So we was thinking to ourselves, I said, wouldn't it be nice to learn other nonprofits besides, that's doing so many things for the world, and ever since we had started the show, me and Serena, I've noticed that all the nonprofits that we bring on, her and I, every time we're done with the show, we're like, OMG, we did not know that there was a nonprofit out there that was helping out, like the children or, different areas. I mean, we had nonprofit on about basically getting bras for women. And we were like, that's kind of interesting. But found out that the homeless women, and the women are out there that can't afford, they didn't even have a bra they can wear. And there's an organization that's handling that. And I was like, see, you never know until you get the awareness. So I feel like this is so powerful, this show, that we can get the awareness of different nonprofits and what HHH is doing, what Help Humanity is doing, and also what other nonprofits are doing for the world and making it great. So tonight we're going to have a nonprofit. They're going to come on in the next probably 10 minutes. It is Empowered Fathers in Action. It's going to be really, really interesting to talk to them. It's EFA, and it's the chief executive officer of that is Chris Salem. So he's going to be on in a little bit. But before we bring on, our spotlight nonprofit probably in 10, 15 more minutes, we wanted to do a quick teachable moment. And I'm going to see if Serena is, let's see, I see her down there. But, oh, there she is. Hey, there she go. I know she was in the vortex and stuff. She's back. Yay. So Serena, we're going to just keep.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, I'll keep it rolling. Oh, I miss my partner in crime, but that's okay. This is what we do. See, this is what you call team. This is what you call a team. You know, that's why I love co-hosting with Serena, because, you know, if I can't do it, she's there. If she can't do it, I'm there. We hold each other up. And this is what it's all about, being a team, right? So I'm going to try her one more time. I see her down there. We're going to try one more time here. Serena, like, no, okay. She's looking at me, like, no, Barbara, let it go. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to do some teachable moment before we bring on our nonprofit. And last time I was talking about the different, in fact, let me just bring this up. And I'm going to kind of go to the beginning just to give you a refresher course here. So with nonprofit organizations, we talked about a few weeks ago about how to start a nonprofit organization, and there's steps to that. In fact, there's like 12 steps. We're kind of just massaging the first 3. So the first step was, why do you need to start a nonprofit, or why do you want to start a nonprofit? That would be the first question, you know. And then the second step was build a solid foundation. And some of these steps might be a little familiar, because familiar. Let me get the right word out. It was like the same type of steps that you would do if you were building, like, maybe if you started your own business. Nonprofit is a business. It is. It's just a nonprofit that you're helping, you know, the greater good of others in the world. But it's still a business. You still have to run it and make sure that it's doing what it needs to do. So I'm loving that the steps that we found to start a nonprofit is, you know, first you got to know that why. You need to know why you're starting it. And I know myself and the wonderful Queen Serena talked about, you know, the different why. She gave her wonderful why she started. You know, I mean, she was basically, you know, and it's funny, I love her story, because she said when she was much younger and she was trying to go to school, she was like, she didn't like it. She didn't like it. So with that, you know, she basically turned it around. She got older, and all of a sudden, that's her livelihood, is teaching. She loves to see the children when that light bulb comes up in their head. She loves to see them when they look at her and they say, oh, Miss Serena, you know, Miss B, we learned this and this. And that just builds her up in her heart and her soul, because she knows she was struggling when she was younger. And now she turned the tables and said, you know what? I want to be that teacher. I want to be that leader in children's life. And that really provoked her to go to the point of, okay, how can I help other children in the global area too? So she's seen the need, and her heart stretched out. I mean, her heart totally stretched out. I think she's good now, so she can kind of, Serena, you're back. Yay! My queen back. So
yay, let's watch it.
It's so funny. So I was just kind of doing an overview of the 3 first steps that we talked about when we're talking about starting a nonprofit. And I was kind of talking a little bit about the why and giving your little story, but you know, you can only do your story more than me. But I think we're good, right?
Yeah, I think we're good. I think, you know, I think most people, when they go to start a non-for-profit, they're probably very sure of what they want to be doing. You know, for myself, starting a nonprofit was never really part of the plan. It was kind of just like it happened in my classroom as a teacher, as an educator, trying to, you know, inspire youth that they can literally do anything. And through the actions and the lessons taught in my classroom, we were able to step into the world and help other people. So we, you know, when Help Heal Humanity formed, we just wanted to help people, but we realized that, you know, we had to define our scope, right? Because helping people, like, that's a lot. That's all over the place. So I think the one thing that anybody should know is when you're starting your nonprofit, or your charity, just, you know, look at what you're doing. look at who else is doing it, look at what makes you different in doing it, in the way that you're doing it, in the area that you're doing it, because there's so many charities out there in the world, and we're all trying to do good. But sometimes it's better in the beginning, especially in the beginning, we were partnering with other organizations, to learn from them. But, it's a step-by-step process. I said, like, you could have the entire blueprint, but that doesn't always work either. So I think, from my experience thus far, I'd say just have a big heart, an open heart, a willingness to learn, a willingness to understand you're going to continuously make mistakes. Surround yourself with good people. Don't give up, because I think at the end of the day, the good heart, the good intention, it somehow gets seen in the world. And even though we we have to fight every day, I think, we're fighting for human rights. We're fighting for social justice. And when we do that, we just pray, we hope, we dream, we believe, we trust, and hopefully that funding comes in, because, we're not shy of programs. We're not shy of things to do in the world, and neither are as other organizations. It's a matter of funding, and funding is, again, the hardest thing, especially in today's times.
Yes. And, just to add to that, Serena,
that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just to add to that, Serena, I was going to say, always when you're feeling those days that you're going through, or you're feeling like, oh, this is just rough, or I'm trying to get people to volunteer, or all that, because we go through all that. Serena goes through that all the time for years. But what pushes her and to say, no, I'm going to keep moving forward, is the why, is the passion, is the purpose that she has for it. And that's why it's so important to have that at the top of your list when you're building your foundation of your nonprofit, because there's going to be those days, and you got to remind yourself that, you know what, I'm doing it for those children. I'm doing it for the ones that's not going to see any kind of food today. When that gets in your back, it just pushes you to say, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit more here. Yeah. See, that's right. I love her. So yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about Serena, about the business
No, it's
plan.
so true. I especially we at AG,
Go ahead. I think we have a.
So can you hear me okay?
I
mean,
can
when
hear
it comes
you,
to
I think there's a
delayed.
lag. There's a delay.
Okay. Well, I'm never doing this again. So yeah, I mean, the business plan is essential. I mean, if you're going to be applying for grants, if you're going to be looking for funding, people always want to see what your plan is, what your vision is. Your business plan is like your strategic plan. They're kind of similar. And it's, what is your approach? What are your programs? How are you raising funds for those programs? Where, who is your target audience? Where those, how are you going to achieve your goals? So I think it would be, just like doing a business plan for your business is very similar for the charity. It's, laying out what you're going to do and the time you're going to do it and how you're going to do it. And again, if you're somebody like HHH, where you're working in, some of the poorest countries in the world, and you're working with extreme poverty and, injustices, you always have to be ready to maneuver at any given time. Like we have earthquakes in Haiti, we have emergency relief there, we have, problems with the politicians, we have problem with gangs. That's just the nature of the country that we work in. So even though we might have the best business plan and the best ideas, sometimes when you're working in such extreme circumstances, you always have to be ready for the unexpected. And, I learned that in my class working with, the youth that I work with, when have severe mental health and crises, is, you have to have a plan, but you always have to have a backup plan and another backup plan. And you always have to be ready to navigate in the moment. So, and again, especially in the business world, which I'm learning, and the non-for-profit world, is measurable results. People not only do they want to see what you're doing, but they want to see the impact that you're doing. right? So, we have X number of students going through our program. We have X number of people who've received our meals. We have X number of business collaborations, and that number, again, life is changing, people are changing, your circumstances are changing. So, you have to have a set goal, but you always have to be ready for the ebb and flows of life.
Yes, definitely. So I want to just, Serena kind of summed that up really well, far as, having that business plan and looking at it, like I said, it's just like having when you open your own company, but basically this is your nonprofit company. It's a business you have to run. So there's some things that you have to think about when you start maneuvering in that. And I love how Serena said it's a strategic type of plan as well. It is a strategic plan for what you're trying to do. So the first thing, I'm just listing some things that are on the screen right now. You want to make sure you're always doing marketing research. Do some marketing research. Look at other nonprofits, especially the ones that might be tailored to what you're thinking about doing. Don't reinvent the wheel. Some people want to reinvent a wheel, and I'm like, why? If somebody's doing it and doing it well, you can learn from them. You can ask questions. Some people are like, well, that's competition. No, it's not competition. Everybody's not going to reach the same people that you're going to reach.
Yeah.
So learn from each other, help each other. That's why we bring that's why we also bring spotlight on other nonprofits, because we're learning from each other. There's been so many that came on the show that want to do so much with Serena, with HHH, because they feel like they can see that, we're both have the same heart and the same goals. So do the research. Look at what other people are doing. See what kind of good and bad and challenges that they did, and then go from there. Right, Serena?
Well, yeah, that's it. I don't think what HHH does is uniquely different from what other charities do. The thing that would make us, different is that we really go into the communities that most of society is not servicing. So we are like the only face and or charity and or hope that the community sees. But then the other thing, which makes it both absolutely beautiful, but until we got it figured out, it also makes it a struggle, is we don't have paid employees at our charity. And I think that's huge, because when people donate to our charity, they know sometimes 100%, at the minimum, it would be 97% of their donation is going directly to the cause. Mm-hmm. That really separates us. Can a charity sustain itself based on volunteers? That is the question that we are still trying to determine. And, I think that's the hard part, is because volunteers come and go, board members come and go, but how do you keep the charity going, and how do you keep your volunteers engaged? Because at the end of the day, they are giving their time and their energy. And so they need to be appreciated. They need to feel loved, and you need to try to hope that they stay. But, it is a high turnover rate when it's volunteer. So I think, minimally, if people can get funding, which HHH hopefully should start to look into, is how do we get funding for at least one, 2 people at full time with a salary, so that we can keep that level of commitment going.
Yes, definitely. And the thing, I always take it back, Serena, where when you have because it's a volunteer organization, like you said, and they're not getting paid, is that you have to have that buy-in, what I call quote buy-in from them, so they know what the why is. Now, we know your why, and we know you just have a heart of gold. You just have a heart of gold, and you want to help children. So people that are going to volunteer, you have to see how their hearts are. You have to see where their mind is at. And then you got to check on their, and then you go into the part of, okay, how much time can you, that's the other part of it. But you really need to see, are they with Serena? Are they with Helping Humanity? Or do they believe in the cause? Do they believe in the purpose? And that's where you can hold on to some of those volunteers, because when things get kind of rough, like we said, a little rocky, and then they're always going to say, you know what, Serena, it's getting rocky, but I'm bought into this. I believe in this. I believe in the cause.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I know, like we've discussed this before, choose your board wisely, because your board is actually responsible for your charity. As the CEO and founder, I am not like, I might have the vision, I might have the plans, but actually I don't control the board. The board actually makes the decisions. So, that's why they say you choose your board wisely, because they have the voting power and they have the say to make the vision come true or not. And again, these are things that you learn along the way. I think as long as your heart, like I think tenacity is key here. Determination, tenacity, not giving up, not believing, and knowing that, even when it gets tough and even when it's hard, this isn't about you. You are in an industry where if you are doing it for the right reason, and the right reason is the greater good of others, it's not about your feelings and emotions. It's about what you're doing for others.
Queen, you hit it right on the head. Yes, it's about what you're doing for others, not all about you. That's why I always say take you out of it and put them in it. When you start putting the you in there, that's when some problems happen. It's like, well, I want this. Why did this? And then you hear all that going on, and then nothing's being done for the individuals that you're trying to help. Yeah. So I know we got a few more time before we get to our spotlighted nonprofit guest, who is in the virtual room, and it's going to be an awesome conversation, I know, from Christopher Salem. And I just want to say, Serena, I know you're in the vortex sometimes, so we'll work with you. Yep, there we go. I knew that was going to happen. She'll be back. So just to wrap up our teachable moment session right now, and thank you, Serena, for again, talking about that why, because it's so important. I mean, that's like we talking about the foundation of your nonprofit. That's the foundation. Believing in what you're doing, believing in the why, believing in the people that you're trying to help. So Serena made that very, very clear. And that's one of the reasons why I became a volunteer. Serena's CEO of Help Heal Humanity, and she is amazing. I'm not going to keep saying that because she is. But I became a volunteer because I bought into the vision. I bought into the why. I bought into that children need help in the different countries. I bought into the fact that if they're not getting food plans from us here through Help Heal Humanity, that they're not getting fed at all. That right there should just totally just somewhere down in your brain and in your heart should tell you that we need to be doing something for children. We need to be doing something for these children in the United States and in the global. So with that, let's see if I can get Serena back. Let's see. Serena, you back, lady?
I'm back. I'm here.
You're back for a minute. Okay. We're going to keep, I hear you. Now there's a little delay. So maybe I should go real slow. But yeah, we're gonna give our sponsors some love. And then, before I give some sponsors some love, I want to introduce, because I want to make sure he has all the time to talk about his platform, because I've been reading it, I've been looking at it. And Serena, this is another amazing nonprofit we're going to have on. So it's called EFA, Empowered Fathers in Action. I'm just looking at the title. I was like, this is going to be. So united in their concern for America's current generations of young men, Joseph Cohen, Christopher Salem, both fathers who care deeply for their sons, and Davey Williams, all authors, speakers, and coaches, have developed a broad spectrum of resources that will provide fathers with the insight, information, and tools they need to play a more engaged, supportive, and influenced role in the lives of their sons. The fathers of daughters will also benefit. This is the part, I just love that part, but listen to this part. Their programs will help reduce bullying incidents, raise self-esteem, and decrease the rates of teenage suicide and school shootings across the United States. It is designed for socially responsibility corporations and communities across the global. Wow. And all that right there is so much needed right now. In the news and everything, Serena. Isn't that awesome? So we're gonna listen. We're gonna get Chris on here, but we're gonna give some sponsor love here, and then we will be.
It is
right back.
Well,
When you do nothing, nothing happens. Best time to take action is now. This is the time to work on you and your business. So I've created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help you to start helping yourself.
Helped me change my life and my business.
Not a Toastmasters, it's not a BNI, it's not any of these, but it is. So it's all this stuff in one place.
Get the results that you deserve right now. So what are you waiting for? Let's make it happen. See you in Power Partners. Created a group, an online academy for professionals and entrepreneurs. Power Partners will help.
Now it seems like I went to the vortex. Hi, Chris.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I know Serena's having a really bad internet issue, so we're working with her here.
It happens. That's the reality of the world we live in with technology, right?
I know. So just to introduce us, because me and Serena, we host this show every Thursday. We co-host it. Basically, Help Heal Humanity, created from her nonprofit organization called Help Heal Humanity. And we decided to say, you know what? Not just half of the show talking about what's going on in the HHH, as we call it, but we wanted to spotlight other nonprofits. And I'm telling you, Christopher, with yours and a lot of other people that are coming on, it's just been blowing our minds of how many people are just, the hearts are out there. And your heart alone right now, I just want you to I'm just reading that. I just got excited. You can hear it. So give us a little bit about what you do.
Sure.
And then we go into some questions.
Well, first of all, I want to thank both of you kindly from our hearts, not only for myself, but from everybody at EFA Movement for having us here tonight. It is a pleasure to serve. It's through partners like yourself that we're able to, leverage that, what we're doing and how we can help, the world be a better place. So what I do is I'm a CEO and co-founder of Empowered Fathers in Action. We're a 501c3 organization dedicated to helping and empowering fathers really step up in their roles to be more than just providers, but play an instrumental role in the development of their children. Even though we started off primarily with sons, because we felt there was a strong requirement in that area, but this also applies to daughters as well. And we feel that if men can really step up in that role and play a more instrumental role in their development in terms of confidence and self-esteem, this is going to shape our future leaders in our homes, in our communities, and our businesses. And we are committed to lead by example and provide the tools, resources, and awareness to allow other facilitators and families be able to tap into these things to really work on themselves so they can be better examples and resources for their children. And we're not limited to just the dads. We also include the moms as well, because we feel that it's a two-way street. When you're growing up, you got to have a mom, a dad. And if you are from a single parent household, then it's either, we can help the mother, but also work on where can we have a father-like role that could help, in this case, more or less a boy and a girl, so that they could help shape them to become everything they're meant to be when they come into the world. So we are committed to impacting millions and millions of people worldwide. And it's through the help of people like yourself that we're able to get that message out there. And it is a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm super stoked to have you. I was a special education teacher for 15 years. I guess I still am. And so I worked with some of the most at-risk youth. And unfortunately, as you say, the majority of my students, unfortunately, were young Black males, because they were the ones that were, in the system. And a lot of them, like you said, were without fathers or vice versa. So, it's exciting to me to know that there's a service like you out there, because I think it's so important in kids' development. And, that's kind of the most important thing. Like you said, these are our future leaders. So we need to teach them how to be kind, how to be resilient, how to be, empathetic. So I'm just curious, how does that work for you? Do fathers contact
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Yeah, it works where either the fathers can reach out to us directly. We host workshops, whether it's virtual and in person, depending upon their location. If we have facilitators, we're looking to bring on more facilitators to be certified in this process. Also, we work with schools in terms of we have a curriculum program that we offer for schools as well. That could be for public schools, chartered schools, and private schools as well. And we also work through community centers and corporations as well. So we look at multiple touch points and how we can really create awareness to people that really see the importance of this, because we're looking to help people develop their own way of thinking, a different way of thinking, to take more ownership over their role and duties in life and not feel they have to be dependent upon everyone in order to move ahead. We're all about empowering one to control the control they can, let go of what they can't. And through that level of confidence, we can bring people together where we complement one another, not depend upon each other. There's a big difference. Codependency is something that runs rampant in all types of societies worldwide. It's in government, it's in the schools, it's in families, it's in businesses, and it just leads to managing the problem and mediocrity. We're all about committing to that we could all reach our full potential. We could all complement each other. It's not about competition to outdo one another. It's about how do we serve each other by owning up to our role and duties in life and business, being accountable, and now complementing at a higher level to really elevate the world we live in. Oh, I can't hear both of you.
Well,
Okay.
I always
There you go. Now I can hear.
okay. Well, no, I mean, I absolutely adore what you're doing. It's kind of what HHH is hoping to do in the world, right? Like the ultimate thing of what we want to do is to teach the life skills, teach the social skills, teach people how to be human. Yes, we believe in education, but there's also that other social emotional concept that is not really being delivered. And so I think it takes programs like yours, like ours, and many others out there to be able to go and teach these kids these things, because those are the coping mechanisms that not just children, everybody in the world needs. We need to know our triggers. We need to know our strengths. We need to know our weaknesses. We need to know how to deal with those things, our triggers, and our coping mechanisms. And so I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing, how you're doing. I'd love to have a conversation with you outside of this, because
Absolutely.
I think our charities really align in trying to create a different kind of thinker, beer in the world. How do people contact you? Like, how do people get your services? Like, what do we do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, our website is efamovement.org, best place you can reach us out right there. You could also send an email to me either at csalem@efamovement.org, or better yet, you send it to my other email on my business side, which is chris@christophersalem.com. I get those emails, see those a lot easier. And that's the best way to reach me. And I'd be more than happy to have a conversation and talk. I mean, it's all about collaboration. It's all about leveraging our strengths, like you said, and and offsetting our weaknesses. And how can we work together to make a bigger difference in the world?
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to say, Chris, because we still got some time here, is reading about what you do, because there's a lot of things going on, like you said, in the world with the shootings and the suicide and all that, and that's taking on a lot. And then you have the teenagers and especially the young men that you're showing, that you're trying to show that, okay, all this is happening, but we just want you to know that you need to show love, you need to do this and this. So it's kind of like you're pulling them, saying, I know you're seeing all this. We're all seeing this. The world is seeing this, but we need to take it to a different level to move away from that part. So how do you respond to that? Because I know it's difficult, because it's always happening. I mean, in the news, it's just like all the time.
It's just a vicious cycle. Because again, we only know what we know, and a lot of times we don't realize the things that impact our confidence, our level of confidence, our self-esteem, how we communicate to ourselves and other people, our behavior, our attitude. Many people grow up thinking that things happen to us. We're the victim. the excuses rather than it's happening for us, seeing the opportunities disguised in the challenges, pain in the body. Challenges are meant to help us. These are messages that meant to, what can we learn to become, to do differently and have better results. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. So our whole philosophy is helping parents to really change their way of thinking, learning to overcome their own self-limiting beliefs that they developed during their child development years from their own parents, and then be able to overcome them so now they can be better examples for their children. This will reflect in their communication rather than being passive or aggressive. Passive meaning they're pleasers and enablers of their children. They'll say yes to everything just to kind of get them out of their hair, so to speak. And that just enables the child to be codependent and then pass on those behaviors on to other people, their own kids. So we're all about helping them to change that so that when they can be a better example and a resource, children are going to observe and pick up on these positive traits that in turn is going to raise their level of confidence. So they're going to learn to take responsibility for their role and duties in life, even at a younger age, so that they're able to see things happening for them, not to them, and know that these challenges is what is necessary to help them grow and be able to take on any kind of challenge going forward and make better impact in their homes, communities, and their businesses.
So what you do is kind of like a holistic approach. I'm hearing is you work with the parents. You work with the parents, so you're teaching parents how to break their cycles, how to have new routines, how to approach things differently. But then you also working with the
children as well. Yeah, we have a curriculum program that we offer, whether if it's with the families or we do this through the classrooms through curriculum. It could be after school curriculum, where we could come in after school and do 1 hour sessions, 2 hour sessions, depending upon what the school allows for and so on. So it doesn't have to interrupt with, the curriculum that you have in place in your day to day. It could be something after and certain days of the week that we do. So it addresses both the children and the parents as well. And again, we can do this through virtual workshops. We do this in person if we have facilitators in those areas. It can be at community centers around the country. And then also we can bring this into corporations where they can, bring awareness to their employees, because this will have a direct reflection on how people show up in their role and duties at work to be better producers and complement each other rather than depend upon each other.
And are you USA based mainly?
We are USA based. Yes, we're headquartered here in Danbury, Connecticut, just outside of New York City. And we do have people all over the country that help us, and we are looking to expand and grow. We still ways to go in terms of really getting a lot of people out there that we can touch people's lives in almost every state. But we're committed, and we're heading in the right direction each and every day.
That is amazing. I'm loving, because just to show everybody and all the viewers that are watching us right now of their wonderful website, and it really breaks down basically how, where the effort is going, where the funds are going. And that's so important. When I'm just not talking about just every nonprofit. When I tell people you're looking at nonprofits and wanting to help volunteer either time or money, get to know. That's why we want to bring them on. Get to know the person, get to know the people. That's what they're trying to do. And Chris, I like how, you have where I was looking where it said, the homes, classrooms, community, and corporate.
Yeah.
So you're hitting all four aspects of that. And that to me is, awesome. That's a great way to hone in on each one.
Yeah. It just adds value, because a lot of the principles we teach will help people to perform better in their jobs, and also as parents, as spouses, and so on. So this really is like both life and business skills, in this case for parents, but for children, just teaching them how to think for themselves and learning how to become problem solvers early rather than later, and really learn how they can really, through raising their level of confidence, can learn to communicate from what I like to call their inner champion rather than their inner critic, and how that assertive communication in an interdependent way versus a passive or aggressive in a codependent way will impact their behavior, their attitude, their emotions, because emotions are happening for you, not to you. And while emotions can be negative, the primary emotion could be negative at first, they can learn that by taking just one breath, they can choose to respond from a positive emotion. A lot of people react out of their initial emotion, and they may say something that they will regret, or they'll do something that they could regret, like shooting up a classroom and then realizing just, what did I just do? Because they acted out of frustration, anger that had been built up. So these are the things that we teach that can be changed, that we can rewire this way of thinking. So this will impact them moving forward as they become adults, to be, in this case, more innovative, creative, and just deliver more impact in the world.
Yes.
Well, I'm like absolutely in love, because I think I'm coming from a place where we've actually seen people lives, community life experience in the classroom. And I was working in partnership with the government, so I only got some of the most extreme cases of child abuse, neglect, and or trauma, and or corrections facilities, mental health places. And I would role play with my students, and they would come up to the front of the desk or come up to the front of the classroom, and we would improvise. How could you do that better? How could you change that? And my students used to look at me and they'd be like, "Miss, nobody talks like that," or "Miss, nobody acts like that." And I'm like, no, actually, if you start to act like this, if you start to speak like this, if you start to believe it, and you start to see, and it took time, but those who were invested in over time, they started to see like, wow, this really works. You know what I mean? And so when you see people, individuals, families, communities shift just based on the teachings, the life skills, the social skills, like you said, giving them the tools to learn how to navigate their emotions and their feelings, that is transformative across the planet, and that, like, what's so hard to get people to somehow recognize the importance of this, because it's like you said, if workplaces, instead of having like a, after hours, I don't know, cocktail drink, if they went out and went to go be of service, it starts to create a different kind of like morale. It brings people closer together. People connect on different ways. People all of a sudden see things that they weren't aware of, and their heart opens up. So this service work that you're doing, that we're doing, it's not taught. Like, come on, use yourself for the greater good of others. You have a lot to give, because when you're helping others, actually your self-esteem, your self-worth, everything rise, your vibrations rise, and that's how change happens. And I just wish the world would recognize how these things that we do are so impactful. So I'm just, I really love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, like you said, from the parents to the students to teachers to come.
What I love what you just said is, because now you're leading by example, and you're being a resource. My opinion, there's no greater gift that you can give another human being or people is through your example on a consistent basis, daily basis, and the resources. Because when people can do for themselves, they're going to grow that way. If you constantly do for people, they become dependent on you. They don't grow. They become stagnant. They begin to regress. And then it just exhausts you, because now you become an enabler and a pleaser. And there's too much of that in the world. And we have to empower people to take responsibility. They can't just say, well, somebody else will do it, because nobody else will do it. It's just everyone's going to be waiting for somebody else to do it. And instead of somebody taking the bull by the horn and said, well, I can control this within my control, and that's what I'm going to do. I can't control that, so I'm not going to attempt to do that. I'm going to just focus on what I can control. And that's what the whole idea about EFA. It's about learning how to shift our way of thinking from the past and the future, where fear thrives. That's what activates limiting beliefs from our childhood to come into the moment, projects into the future, and then tells us we're not capable of doing this, this, and this. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? To now, in the moment, what can we control? What we cannot control? And we can only control 5 things: our communication to ourselves and others, our behavior, our attitude, our emotions happening for, not to you, and your action. You can't control those same 5 things in other people. But as people, we get caught up in that with other people. We're reason. We're trying to persuade them and convince them. We're trying to alter their behavior. We're trying to change their attitude. We're trying to control their emotions. We're trying to get them to do something that we'd like them to do. It doesn't work. We can't change COVID. We can't change the economy. We can't change death, taxes, the weather. We can't control any of that. But instead of, if we could focus in the moment on what we can control, trusting the process, letting go of what we can't control, it just always ends up leading to the results we see if we trust that process. That's the premise of EFA's thinking and thought process, how we are looking to help people change the way they think. So this will decrease worry, decrease stress, anxiety, and all of a sudden people are not going to be dependent upon these antidepressants and these medications that all they do is manage symptoms and create more issues and don't solve problems. All the answers, for the most part, are within each and every one.
Well said, well said, well put. Wow, Christopher. Just to add to that, and this is what you're doing, and Serena, because I always, when it comes to nonprofits, I just put you up on this pedestals because you're just helping, making the world change in certain ways. But the biggest thing you're doing, Christopher, that I love, and like I said, Serena's doing too, is you're being an example. And what we were just saying this throughout the thing, when people see that we had to be an example for them to learn and see what needs to be done. If you're not that example, then they're going to be confused and they don't know what to do. They're like, okay, they're saying what's going on in the world right now. We need to have more examples, more Chris, more Serenas, more myself, to be out there and lead those examples. And like you said, not to say, well, they'll do it, but we'll show you how it's supposed to look.
Absolutely. And when you can be synergistic, something what Serena's doing, what we're doing, and now you're going to be more relatable to more people. And that's the thing. And people are looking for things, but if you can, be the example to help them go within that, to do these things for themselves, and then they could pass on that through their example. It's just like a domino effect. It just passes on. People end up picking up on it. And that doesn't mean everyone's going to change, but if we can get one person to change and then another person to change, but it's on their time and that they're taking the initiative, no one's forcing them to do something. It can just provide greater impact. And I think that's how change for the better happens long term. And it's not telling people what to do, it's sharing and allowing them to decide what that means to him or her.
Yes, definitely. Well, Chris, I know with time, what we usually do is we want to at least give you 30 seconds to say anything that you want to add.
Sure.
And then we'll close up the show. So we're going to take myself down and Serena, and we'll be right back.
Sure. So one of the things that I would just like to leave the audience is a statement that I live each and every day, and we teach and share with everybody that we impact here at EFA Movement. It's a statement called "Give without expectation." So you're giving from empathy and kindness, not pleasing and enabling, knowing when to establish healthy boundaries so people don't take advantage of your good nature. Give without expectation, receive without resistance, meaning that when it comes back from somewhere else, if it serves you, your well-being, your relationships, your business, something that's going to nurture you and help you to grow, you receive it without hesitation, without resistance. Because you can't give what you don't have. You have to fill your cup. And when you keep circulating the give without expectation, receive without resistance, it just creates more flow, positive energy that can impact so many people in the world. I've tested this step process and this statement for 24 years, and I can tell you it works. It's powerful. Now, I'm just sharing from my experience. I'm not saying that you're gonna believe in that. That's up to you. But I always like to empower people to share that and just give it a chance. Put it up in your mirror, write it out, give without expectation, receive without resistance, and over time begin to see how things start to transform in your personal life and everything that you do.
Yes.
Amazing. Look at Serena. Love it. See, I mean, there's people like you on this earth. I mean, you and Serena, you can't help but smile and get excited.
Oh, I love it. I love meeting people like you, Serena, and you, Barbara. It's a breath of fresh air. Believe me.
It is. You know what? You inspire me. You motivate me because I think we see that, we know it, we know the capabilities. And it's like you said, I always say, give without expecting anything back in return, and then you'll be rewarded tenfold. It's so you speak my language. You 100% speak the HHH language. I'd love to have a conversation with you outside of here.
Yes, please. I'd be happy to chat with you. Set up a time we can talk on Zoom or whatever platform's comfortable for you.
And Barbara, you always find the best guests. You always find the best guests.
Well, I had to thank Madeline.
Oh, Madeline! Yeah, Madeline hooked up. Yeah, Madeline's the best. I love her. I've known Madeline for quite some time. She's the greatest.
I'll call her a rose and a queen. And when she told me about you, Christopher, and I knew you from before because you know Lawana Bradford too.
Yes, I've been on Lawana's show, and matter of fact, I'm going to be on her show at the end of this month.
Oh, see,
again, I'm going to be on again. Yeah.
See,
I love Lawana. She's great.
We're partners in crime. So this is wonderful. See how it's a small world, and so glad that we were able to bring you on to represent your wonderful cause and what you're doing. Now, we always say this too, Christopher, all our nonprofits we bring on Spotlight. You're always welcome to come back if there's some things that you're doing that you want to spotlight, certain events, whatever. Please just tag us and we'll bring you back on. We would love
absolutely. We're working on a dad challenge. So once we get it all settled in, we will be in touch.
Yeah, definitely. So just to let everybody know, please reach out for Christopher and his wonderful nonprofit. There's the website down below. They believe me, they would love volunteers, time, money, everything put together because it takes a team to change the world that we're trying to do. So we'll see everybody next Thursday. Serena, thank you so much being in the vortex. You did really well with technology. Love you, lady. And thank you so much, Chris, again. And like I always tell people, you know what? It's one thing to say that maybe you're struggling, but there's other people that are struggling more than you. So just put a prayer out there, put your heart out there, and just say, let's make a little change in the world so we can all benefit from that. With that said, we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
And although it may seem a little mundane, packing up boxes and being on the assembly line, what we're really doing is putting in hundreds of hours into the people on the streets who need us. And they need us in a way that none of us will ever understand. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been on the grounds every day. They know we're coming today, they know we're coming tomorrow, and they look forward to seeing us because we're the one little bit of hope that they have to have a warm meal in their bellies and to know that somebody in the world is actually caring for them and loving them. And without people like you showing up today to give your time, your energy, and your spirit, none of this is possible. So I want to really say thank you to everyone because what we're doing here today may seem small, but it's actually really, really big. And it's impacting hundreds and thousands of families. So I thank you. I love you. I look forward to doing this with you today.
My name is Serena Bufalino, and I am the founder of Help Heal Humanity. Help Heal Humanity is a charity that is focused on unconditional giving, love, and support to some of the most vulnerable communities in the world.
And you thought we was done. I am back because one of the things we said we wanted to make sure is, as you know, Help Heal Humanity has a campaign that's going on right now to help the children in the world in Hades. And this is a thing that was put on the CEO's heart and all the members and the teams and the volunteers of HHH, including myself as a volunteer and the wonderful Serena Bufalino. We have our hearts out there to make sure children are getting educated and that's getting food in their belly. Right now in Hades, right now, there are children that are starving every day. There are children that are not getting the education where we can just probably look on Google or go to YouTube or whatever and find everything that we need and learn from there. But we need help. We need to help those that are helpless. And right now we have a campaign that we're looking as a total of $100,000. But like I said, let's crunch down those numbers. Let's not make the big number stop us from saying, I want to help. 15, $5, $1 would help. We always say one child in Hades, we need at least $500 per child to give them education. That's not even including the food plan that we want to give them. If you divide it up into 4 people, that's like what, 100, maybe $120 per person. So let's not make it so much of, well, it's a big number. I'll let somebody deal with that. Maybe I'll let a corporation or what have you. No, let's all put together and be a team and help each other out. And it's not helping us. We're not getting paid for it. The money's going over to the children. Every time I hear about a child that I know for a fact that's not eating and they're relying on us and all these other nonprofit organizations like Chris's organization, our organization, a lot of organizations, they're relying on us. That deeps in my heart and my soul every day. So just to let you know that I'm going to put the link here. And I just want you to go to hhelphealhumanity.org and you'll find a donation. And when you do that donation, don't look at so much as I'm giving to an organization. Look at it as that you're giving to a child that's in need, a child that's looking for that next plate of food, a child that's looking for that next book that they can read and understand the language of what they're reading, looking for a child that can grow up and learn the social aspects overall so they can live and grow in this world like Christopher is teaching them and what he's doing and what his organization. Let's just come together and think about that. And then from your heart and your soul, the money just comes. The money just comes. So with that, we'll see you next Thursday. Again, we appreciate you. We love you. And always show heart, not like I said, just for yourself, but for others, because this world needs our love. Thank you so much. We'll see you Thursday.